What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. So, yesterday, I did a follow-up of the Danny Sheehan news about the archives that were supposed to be released between October the 18th and October the 20th. Sheehan notified us that these documents are being pushed back until September 2025. The reaction from people was just as disappointing as you would expect, but I also had an interesting interaction with someone, one of the viewers, who apparently is not happy with the way I'm covering stuff on my channel. And they apparently initially believed, because this person is apparently an experiencer. And I get that a lot of you who are experiencers are trying to find the most reliable way and information to understand what is happening to you, what you are experiencing still on a constant basis. And I understand that. I am sympathetic towards what's happening to you and your experiences. I am grateful that you are rocking with some of the content that I am covering, but also I would love it for you to understand that although I have had my own experiences and I do occasionally share them, and I do share my opinion occasionally, I always say when I share my opinion, this is my opinion. What I am weary of is people who start liking my content, and some of them have this way of looking at creators, and which is a little bit dangerous in my opinion, because in the UFO world, there are a lot of figures historically who have been overly idolized, and fame has done a number on them. So, this is something that everybody who gets into this space and starts creating content should always try to avoid. One of the best examples that I have of a person who understands this perfectly is Christian Harloff, who is the prime example of how you should behave in a space like this. Harloff does never get involved with the subject itself. I know that I may have made that mistake at the beginning. I learned from my mistakes. I know now how divided the community is and how easy and the slippery slope that it can become being a content creator in this space. I know that I know a lot of big names within the community who are constantly idolized, and they're told your channel is the best channel on in the world about the topic, and many of them lose ground. And this person that I had this back and forth with told me that they were disappointed that I was covering names instead of the topic itself. And I understand that. I would tell you, please understand that I am trying to report on news about the topic. And although there are many cases that I will not touch under any circumstance, because either they're too toxic or they bring about unwanted attention from people that I don't want to be associated with. I also think that, for example, the UAPDA and this control disclosure movement, I can see the inconsistencies as many of you can see them. I can tell you, I was when I released the James Webb story about the briefings, one of the debunkers, one of the most famous ones, told me that I needed to do better and that I couldn't peddle propaganda. That's not what I was doing. And I spoke to this person directly through DMs. And I told them, I was like, whatever problems you have with some of the control disclosure people seem to be personal issues. I am not part of that. And I've said this many times, and I'm going to keep repeating it until all of you understand what I'm trying to say. I am going to keep covering stuff that many of you will probably not like. I do not aim to please a specific group of people. I am only trying to cover the stuff that I find newsworthy, that I think people will appreciate as news on the topic. I try to offer my opinion as little as possible. I have edited my opinion out of videos multiple times when I'm on the editing process, because I know that I can't just give out my opinion like that and not expect a negative reaction from someone who doesn't think the way I do. And also, I want to keep my information as unbiased as possible. Sometimes I will not be successful at that, and I recognized it, I acknowledge it, but that is the main goal. And if some of the content that I put out doesn't sit well with you, I'm sorry. I am not trying to please you specifically. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to news about the UFO topic, the paranormal. If this turns out to be just black tech, I am going to say it is black tech. I do know that something is going on. Some type of technology was either cracked or belongs to something that we don't know what it is. And I'm trying to find out what that is. And along the way, yes, I have found inconsistencies within the control disclosure people, but I also see the value that they bring to the topic, because before 2017, not even I didn't think it was real at all. I didn't think anything was going on. I thought it was just like a psyop. And although it was fun getting into rabbit holes throughout my life, because I've done it many times since I was little, I never really thought that it was something that could be real until 2017. And I am going to say whatever it is, I am going to arrive to that conclusion, because the truth is only one thing. There's no choice between one, two, or three. At the end of the day, whatever this is, it's just one thing, right? It's just one truth. It is possible that we may be dealing with multiple phenomena. I've said this also many times. I am going to try and report on that. But I want you to please understand, I am not trying to please people. I'm just trying to report. And what you see here is what you get. This is my personality as I present myself in front of the camera. And I am a journalist. I do go by those rules. I do have sources. I do protect my sources. And I will continue to do that. And I will continue to talk about people within the movement, such as Sheehan, Lou Elizondo. I am going to try and keep it diplomatic, because as a journalist, I need to be in good terms with as many of the actors as possible, because all of them are potential sources of information. And I cannot afford the luxury of not being in good terms with them or insult them, regardless of what I believe their role is in all of this, regardless on whether I believe them or not, or if I think they're grifting, or if I think they're full of BS. I can't afford to not get along with anybody. And within the UFO Twitter community, when I arrived, I realized that there was this infighting. And now I understand better that I cannot really take sides on this whole fight, because I don't think it's productive to continue fighting like this. And also, I am trying to find out who really is the bad actor because I arrived late to the party. And I am also going to continue talking about consciousness. I am also going to continue talking about Dr. Greenberg. I am going to continue sharing my experiences. I will not stop, but I am not going to appeal or try to appeal to what you like. I am going to report on what I consider newsworthy. That's it. If you don't like the way that I do things, I am sorry. But I do please urge you, if you find yourself trying to find a figure you can follow and that you idealize within your head, that's not the best way to tackle this. You cannot try to find a specific figure within the community who you're going to follow blindly. That is how cult leaders are formed. And that is something that anybody who is in this space will have to understand, that they cannot go down that path. Because, as I told you, there are already many names. You can take a guess who I'm talking about. There are many, many names who are already cult leaders. And some of them don't even realize they are cult leaders already. But all you have to do is just look at the fans they have or the followers they have and look at how violent in some cases they get, and how disruptive and how insulting and how blind they can become when they are defending their heroes. I'm just a journalist, and I really, really don't appreciate when someone goes like, I am disappointed at you. I thought you were something that you're not. Guess what? I'm not. I am the person that I want to be, not the person that people want me to be. Fuck that. And that's my rant for now about this. I felt like I needed to say it because that exchange yesterday was really disappointing, and it's just another cautionary tale of how people can get blinded by devotion towards figures in the internet who none of them, none of us are worthy of any type of devotion. We're just people. We also fuck up sometimes. We make a lot of mistakes, and I know I've made a lot of mistakes on this channel, and I try to correct them. And when I make a mistake, if I consider that I made a mistake, I apologize. I have done it. But this attitude from people who follow channels and try to fit a certain archetype into some creators, that is something that I want to be as far away as possible from it. Yeah. And let's go to the topic today, because after Danny Sheehan's news yesterday that the archives were not going to be released on the 20th, he's still going forward with the Global Disclosure Day. But I want to get some attention to an alarming trend that I see happening. I don't know if you guys see it too, but we've seen how this happened with the archives. We've seen how the UAPDA was semi-gutted again, although Senator Rounds said that it was still possible for it to be passed. I am very skeptical about that. I don't think it will. I have told you many times that if disclosure, whatever that means, is going to come from somewhere, it is not going to come from the government. The people from the intelligence community are making sure that we remain just as confused as we were when this all started. That's their job, especially the ones that are on the side of keeping the secrets secret. So if you see an intelligence guy trying to promote disclosure in any way, you should always be skeptical of them. It is only natural. It is within their nature to be deceiving and to lie and to appear as if they're your friends, but they're really not. They're just doing their job, which is to lie and deceive and do counterintelligence. That's what it is. Counterintelligence is basically creating propaganda. That's what it is. So I believe that there is a possibility that with this trend that is happening right now, so many negative responses from the DOD. Just today, there was a press conference from the DOD.
All right, last question will go to Jeff Schogel, Task and Purpose.
Thanks. Given the news cycle, you could announce anything about aliens or extraterrestrial life and no one would care. So I'm going to take the shot. What do you got on UFOs, aliens, etc.? Go.
The truth is out there, Jeff. And the truth is we have no evidence to indicate extraterrestrial life has visited the planet. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
And we're going to keep hearing that from everybody involved in the government, especially the DOD. I think disclosure is a very personal issue. It has already happened for a lot of people in the world. Experiencers are the first in line who already know. They don't believe. They know. They saw something. They experienced something. They are experiencing stuff constantly. They know. So disclosure already happened for them. It is for people like me, for example, who have never seen a UFO. I've had anomalous experiences, but I cannot link that to the UFO phenomenon just yet. I think they're, for now, separate things. I know there's a connection between consciousness and the phenomenon, but I still haven't had like a direct confirmation that whatever I experienced has to do with the phenomenon. I don't know if I explain myself well enough. But this disclosure, I think it's very important for people like me who haven't seen anything anomalous really. Because although I remain open and I like to talk about the possibilities, I am not like close-minded like a lot of people are or skeptics are. I also understand that disclosure, if it's going to happen, it is going to happen from scientists, from a piece of hardware, which is why I'm pursuing the James Webb and other toys with high tech stories about that. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen through there. But I am also trying to support whatever government effort is happening, because the government is not a monolith. The government is filled with people from different backgrounds and from different sides who are seeking different things. We can't say everybody in the government is lying or everybody in the government is corrupt. There are good people in the government. That is also a reality. And we need to learn how to trust institutions, especially during these times. We're living through some of the most divisive times in political history in the world. And I think it's imperative for us to try and trust the people that we believe are doing good for the world, not just America. So, with all of these negative responses from either the DOD or the bad news from Sheehan right now, I am extremely weary of the potential for the hearings to be pushed back as well. Right now, everybody is 100% focused on the election, which is about 3 weeks from now. Whatever happens on November 5th is going to dictate what happens with all of this UFO phenomenon news and occurrences. I don't think we can look past November the 5th just yet, despite we already have a date for the UFO hearings. Think about this, if we already got a no on the UAPDA, if we already got a pushback on the archives being released this year, what makes you think that the hearings on November the 13th are safe? I would be really, really worried right now for the hearings to even happen. I don't know if they will happen at all. I hope they do. I hope that, for example, James Fox's documentary can push for these hearings to happen if that is released before the hearings, because we still don't have a date for that to drop. There are multiple documentaries happening. George Knapp has one. Bob Lazar has one, the Gravitor project. MGM has one. We still don't know what the Dan Farah documentary is going to be about, which is supposed to be game-changing. We still don't know what the coup de grace will be that Matthew Pines alluded to. We still have to see if whatever happens between now and November the 5th happens and moves the needle and the hearings happen. Because right now, the confidence is really low. I don't know what will happen, but let's try and keep an outlook of a glass half full, shall we? I know this is not like the most uplifting video, but I think we should be realistic and try and look at this for what it is. There's massive pushback right now. There are people saying that they were threatened. Although the Immaculate Constellation news broke, the overall feeling between journalists and content creators is that there is fear and there's not a lot of hope. But I do believe that we should be hopeful still, because if we look at the glass half full, there hasn't been a time in history before this where we have spoken about the phenomenon so openly and on the mainstream as prominently as we have these days. And also, I think that what we should be the most hopeful about is other countries coming forward with disclosure, with information. I told you recently in one of my videos about the mummies that a Peruvian hearing could be happening soon. I even told you the name of the politician that is leading them. There will be news about this over the next couple of weeks that are going to be extremely positive. But these bodies are still a major point of contention. Unless the people at Ica University do have like the most definitive proof that they are non-human, they need to release that information, because there are other groups that are also looking at bodies from Encari Institute that are leaning towards these, especially the smaller ones, being ancient constructions. Even if they were, I think there is like a hypothesis that suggests these ancient constructions are proof of alien visitations and alien contact between the Indian culture and some kind of civilization that came from either the stars or the moon. Over the next couple of weeks, maybe 3, in other countries that are not the United States, we are gonna have some really, really exciting news. We're getting news from countries like Japan, some other countries in South America, from Europe. I know there's a massive effort in Europe right now. 2 of my very good friends are part of these efforts, and I am going to be reporting on some of these news about the phenomenon and about UAP. So there are many reasons to be hopeful. Those of you who want to hang on to the government confirmation and the legislation, I urge you, please look at other avenues of the phenomenon, not just like the official channels. I get it that we need official channels in order to get more people on board and to pay attention. I get that. That's why I do my videos about some of these topics occasionally. That's why my videos are so varied. But you need to also pay attention to other areas. So please do. If you want to stick around on this channel, what I've tried to do is put a story together that is general about many different topics around the phenomenon. And if you haven't seen all of my videos, I've started doing daily videos about 5 months and 3 weeks ago, to be more specific. I would please encourage you to take a look at those. I do cover a wide variety of topics, and I think that at least one of those will suit what you're looking for. But for now, today's video is about that we should be weary of the UFO hearings on November 13th possibly being pushed back. I hope it doesn't happen. This is just a bad hunch that I have. But based on everything that we're looking at right now on the pushback and the threats, it could happen that they are pushed back. That's about it for my video today. I want to thank everybody who's been supportive of me being under the weather. I hope it doesn't sound as bad as yesterday or the day before. If you like the content you see, I urge you to please look at more of my videos. If you just subscribe, there's a lot of stuff for everybody's taste, which is what I try to do. And if you like the content, like, share, comment, subscribe. Please hit the bell notification so you can get notified when a new video drops. And if you want to support me or the channel in any other way, I'm going to leave a few links in the description. Some of them are in Spanish. I apologize. I am Mexican and my accounts are here in Mexico. So any kind of help you send my way is going to be always appreciated. And I am busting my ass so you can get content almost daily. I hope you guys can see the effort that I'm making in creating this content. I think that's why you're rocking with my videos. So thank you, always. So that's it for today's video. And I'll see you guys until tomorrow. I got an interview dropping tomorrow with Professor Stephen Brown. You can expect that tomorrow. Bye.